Welcome to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower, where we do our best to give you useful information in 20 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, 5-time Voice Arts Awards nominee, David Brower.
Thanks, Ellen. This is David Brower with your 20-minute podcast. Our special guest from New York is Georgia Woodbine. She's sparking an inspirational phenomenon wherever she goes. National best-selling author, motivational speaker, life coach. Georgia shares her secrets, experiences, and strategies to success. She's one of the world's leading authorities in personal and professional development. She's been awarded the 2018 Young Gifted and Black Entrepreneurial Award, Businesswoman of the Year Award, Chapters Rep 2018 Author Achievement Award, and our 20 minutes is up. Thank you so much. Nice to talk to you.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
You are very welcome. Great to have you on the show. I'm so excited to talk to you because you just have, I look through your stuff for about 10 minutes and I'm going, man, this woman knows how to touch people, how to motivate people, how to reach people. It's fascinating to me. Where did all this spark and fire and knowledge come from?
I always tell people that we're all born with gifts and talents and natural abilities.
You bet.
And sometimes, unless you're put in a position to really, or a platform to apply those gifts, you never really know. Some people find out later in life they have this gift to speak or the gift to give people advice or any other type of gifts.
Sure.
So I've been doing it my whole entire life. Did I know I would be a life coach? No. Did I know I would be a public speaker? No, because I always feared speaking. So one of the things I always tell people is once you confront your fears, that's where all your gifts are. That's where all your talents are. That's where all your natural abilities are. And that's where your skills are. So I had to get past my fears. And once I got past my fears, I realized that, wow, I really can use these gifts and talents and I can turn it into a business. So that's pretty much what I teach with my personal and professional development.
So cool. Because really at the end of the day, we're just afraid, Fear encapsulates so much of our life, whether we're going 300 miles an hour or we listen too much to the news or we're afraid to walk our dog or, you name it. And fear kind of covers our life a bit and quite a bit, actually. And it's the most used word in the Bible. Fear is a big deal. And so if you have a way of helping people understand what kind of a barrier fear is and release that freedom, my goodness, girl, that's a gift.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I feel very blessed to be even in a position like this to touch so many people.
Yeah.
They say to whom much is given, much is required. So,
Absolutely.
People don't understand there's a lot of things that I had to go through to be able to do what I do today. So, and one of those things was definitely getting past the fear.
Yeah. And I think, it's interesting to me, and this will probably be pretty close to my 400th podcast interview. And it's fascinating to me because most of the successful people that I talk to, and success, of course, is what it is to everybody. But, when people feel their success in some way, shape, or form, it usually comes from a life experience, right? A fear,
Absolutely.
a trauma, a hiccup, a train wreck. Thousands of different things that all of a sudden give you that aha moment or that epiphany or, damn it, I'm not going to put up with this anymore kind of thing, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things I talk about, David, is how people can get on the path to creating the life they love is to let go of their past experiences and expectations and preconceived notions of what they think happiness means.
Yeah.
Go of things that can be difficult, especially old thought patterns and bad habits and, learning how to find personal peace. Because when you learn how to find personal peace, it's like finding a pot of gold.
Absolutely. And how many of us even know how to define that, let alone experience it,
Well, one of the things that I always talk about is, when you talk about successful people and what we do, it's not that we're much smarter or, have more insight. It's just that we do things differently.
Yes.
And so everybody has that available to them. And, the key to really changing your life, and it really, David, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's your career. It doesn't matter if it's your relationship, if it's your job, if it's your health. The key to changing anything is to change your mindset. That is the only way you're going to make that change. And a lot of people don't even realize that they're operating in either a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And, when you're operating in a fixed mindset, you believe that things are carved in stone, like your life is the way it is and that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah,
You tell yourself, I'm either good at this or I'm not. Or, I don't want to be challenged. It's too hard. Or, I failed, so I'm not going to try it again. That's when you know you have a fixed mindset.
absolutely.
When you have a growth mindset, you say, you know what? I can learn anything I want to learn if I put my mind to it. Or I can challenge myself, because when I challenge myself, I'm going to learn and I'm going to grow and I'm going to do better. And when I fail, it's because it's an experience or something that I need to learn from this test. So those two different mindsets is what really separates people that are extraordinary from people that are ordinary.
Couldn't agree more. And I think part of that equation, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think part of that equation is surrounding yourself with like-minded people, right? I mean, if you surround yourself with fixed-minded people, well, guess what? If you surround yourself with growth-minded people, well, guess what? The world has a much better opportunity to change just by who you hang out with.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And one of the things I always talk about is, you have to be aware of who you're spending your time with, what you're spending your time doing. Those are all crucial keys to your success.
Absolutely. And there's only so many hours in the day, although if you can learn how to manage that time, which obviously you do and you've learned to do over time, if you can learn how to manage that time to where you can give yourself some space and some pause and some cause and go, all right, time to call up Georgia, find out what the hell's wrong.
Well, it's so funny, David, that you say that about the time, because that's also something that I talk about, especially with my clients. When people say, oh, I don't have time to start a business, or I don't have time to learn something new, or I don't have time to work out, or I don't have time to do this or that, whatever. And then I say to them, okay, you don't have time. So let's break down your time and see how many hours are in a week.
Nice.
So if you have 168 hours a week, what are you doing with that time? Why you cannot take out time or carve out time out of that 168 hours to do something that you really want to do? And so a lot of times when people they start looking at their time differently, because they're not thinking about it that way. They always think, I don't have time. But when you see you have 168 hours, what are you doing with all of those hours? That's a lot of hours.
Well, it makes it real, right? I mean, if you just write down 168 on a piece of paper, let alone a spreadsheet itemizing out 168 hours. I mean, if you just write down 168 hours on a piece of paper and go, so what are you doing with all this?
Exactly. Because when you
mind blower.
Absolutely. When you start doing things differently, then you can attack it differently.
Yeah.
So, if like we were talking about before with a fixed mindset, you're doing things the same way over and over again. What they say, it's insanity to do something the same way you've been doing it for 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years, and expecting to see your life change. It's not going to change.
Yep.
You have to change what you're doing.
Absolutely right. And so when people are in a fixed mindset, and it's hard to generalize the answer to this question, I'm sure, but when people are in a fixed mindset and they don't know that, maybe their parents before them were in a fixed mindset and that's all they knew. That's all they know growing up. So how do you open up a little spark in those people and let them go, oh, there is something else?
Well, one of the things is helping them tap into their passion, because that's something that naturally comes to any individual. It's something that you're passionate about. It's something that gives you great joy. It's something that you get animated about, something that you get excited about. So I help people laser in on their passion, because when you laser in on your passion, you're excited to learn about how you can take this passion and how you can share it with other people. So when you tap into something that somebody's excited about, then they're open to learning new ways of doing things, and they're open to hearing what you have to say. Well, how do I approach this differently? So focusing on what gives you that great joy, what gives you that great happiness, what gives you that zest for life to get out of bed in the morning, what makes you happy. And I always tell people, your gifts are something that you're so good at, you don't even know it's a gift.
You don't even know.
Because
yeah.
You don't even know it's a gift, because it becomes so natural to you that you don't even look at it as it being your gift.
Right.
It's just a natural thing.
Yeah.
And that's what, the greatest gift that we have. And when we're talking about the pot of gold, it's all there. But people have to start digging deeper within themselves to find it, because that's where the pot of gold is. It's not outside of you. It's within
it's
you.
inside of you. And that goes back to that finding peace within yourself that you talked about earlier, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you are operating in your passion, in your gift, the things that you were born to do, like there's three types of people in the world that I like to talk about. There's misplaced achievers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are people that are on the wrong job, doing the wrong things. They're not applying their gifts. They're not applying their talents or their natural abilities. They're just on a job and they're not getting paid the money that they deserve because they're misplaced.
Right.
So they would never found the place for themselves. So they're misplaced achievers. So they know that there's more for them to do, but they're just misplaced,
Yep.
right?
Right.
And then you have successfully discontent people. Those are people that may be making all the money that they want. They may have the money, but they don't find, and I'm not saying this about everybody that makes money, but there's some people out there, or probably a majority of people, that they still have something on the side that they would rather do,
Yeah.
meaning something that gives them greater joy or something that makes their life more fulfilling or even gives their life a purpose. So
Sure.
they're making the money, but they don't have purpose,
Sure.
right? And then you have the last category of people, the successfully content people. Who are these people? Successfully content people are people that have figured out how to apply their gifts, their talents, their natural abilities, skills that they've learned on their job, education, and they take all of these things and they connect the dots. And now they can turn their passion into profits. That is successfully content.
Well, and the other thing about successfully content, I would think, would be they have more balance in their life, right? They find more time for their family. They find more time for their activities. They find more time for their whatever, right? I mean, it's like, oh, I'm content. I'm making money. I'm successful. Well, I'm going
Right.
to go to my kid's baseball game. See you later.
Exactly. Exactly. They figured out a way to manage their life and manage their time. And trust me, Dave, it's not a 1, 2, 3 process. And I always tell people that it's not something that just one day you wake up and like, boom, it falls into place. Success takes work. It takes taking action, setting goals. There are a lot of different pieces to it. It's, you can think differently. Yes, that's great. You can take action. That's great. But you also have to continue to set goals. You can have to continue to set new goals. You have to prioritize your life based on what's important to you and make, like you were talking about, make time for things that's important to you. You have to set goals with an end result in mind and track your progress. You have to create a mission statement for your life. I always tell people mission statements are not just for organizations or non-for-profits or businesses. Everyone should have a mission statement. You should have a mission statement for your life.
Yeah.
Why you have a mission statement for your life? Because that's what will drive you. That's what will guide you. That's what will give you balance and let you know why you're doing what you're doing. Everybody should know their why. Your why is your purpose. Your why is your motivation for what you do. Your why is to teach others how to combat those negative thoughts and to turn them into positive. So why do you want what you want? People think success is not just about wanting more money. What is success? Like you said, what does success mean?
Yeah.
Success means different things to different people based on, like you said, how they were raised, how they were brought up, what they looked at as success as a child,
Right.
or what someone taught them growing up as a child. So we all have to really look at things and understand what our motives are for certain things, because some people might say they want success, but what they really want is more freedom to do the things that they love.
No question.
So you have to understand what you really want. What you really want is freedom. You don't want more money. You want freedom. Yes, money can give you some sort of freedom, but that's what you're really looking for.
What I love about what you're saying, to simplify it in my own brain, if I just took the word why and I put it on a Post-it note and I stuck it in different places throughout my house and in my studio and on my car and wherever, a screensaver, a wallpaper on my phone, what have you, just why, my goodness, you would just be going, well, why am I doing this? Why am I not doing that? Why is this a benefit? Why is that not a benefit? Why did that person cross the street that way when that person crossed the street that way? I mean, it just seems like it opens up so many opportunities to answer that 3-letter question.
Absolutely.
I love that. Wow. Okay, I got my goosebumps for the day. Thank you. I think one of the things that you do naturally, and again, it comes from fear, it comes from you working through fear, it comes from you working through, oh my God, I'm going to be a public speaker. Yeah, right. But when you work through that and you find your passion, which you obviously have, and when you're speaking to small, large, medium-sized groups, whatever, that passion comes across. It's contagious. And so people want to listen to you. They want to learn, well, I want a piece of that. And it's what a amazing gift you have.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. But it's like anything in life. If you don't go beyond your fear, meaning if you have to be willing to have faith and just go ahead and go through the journey
Yeah,
and go through the obstacles, go through the challenges, go through the setbacks, go through the disappointments, because that is all a part of success.
it is.
Every one of those things I just mentioned is a part of my success, my personal story. And so for me, like you talked about experiences, my backstory is I went through some health issues. I went through some job loss. I went through losing my car, losing my home,
Yeah,
being financially in debt. I went through all these things to find myself to come out of that situation to become successful. So now I can share that with other people, being in unhealthy relationships,
yeah,
all of those things. So, like you said, yes, it is my personal journey. I've written several books, and every one of those books is really me being transparent about my personal journey. And I think in success or anything where you're talking about impacting people, you have to be willing to be transparent. You have to be honest. You have to be, just transparent about your message. And I think when you are that way, people embrace you more because they see that, wow, this is a real person. It's not just a successful person that I see on the outside, but there's more to that person, to what brought them to where they are from A to B or C or D or whatever.
no,
So that's why I think people feel me the way they do when I speak to them, or even when I do life coaching or whatever it is that I'm doing, why I can have that infectious type of, where people hear, they want to hear more,
yeah.
they want to learn more. It's because I'm being transparent and I'm sharing my story. And when you do that, you will see that people can get so much from that when you're honest about your past struggles and how you came out of those things and how you were able to overcome all of these things in your life. And now you can say, wow, I came out. This is what I did.
Wow.
This is how I
Okay.
got out of this situation. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
So
do.
that's
I do. We only got a couple of minutes left. One thing that comes screaming clearly to me is your authenticity and your integrity. And I think that's the other part of the equation, right? It's transparency, it's
mhm.
authenticity, it's integrity. And
Yeah,
that's your trifecta, right? You own that. And so
right.
people see that, recognize that. You've got a bunch of books. You're a bestseller author. Your latest book, if I remember right, Total BS. Love that title, Body and Soul.
Thank you.
Oh my God! If you don't, you look at the cover and you go, well, yeah, I want to buy that. Oh, it's great. So go to Amazon.com. You'll see all kinds of wonderful books that Georgia's written. Total BS, How to Choose Your Career Path, How to Make Big Bucks, Live by Your Design, Minute of Motivation. It goes on and on and on. And there's a video on there, about a minute and a half video, where you can watch Georgia in action, just really speaking to a crowd and feel her sense of energy and passion about what she does. If people want to get in touch with you, Georgia, to learn from you, to be coached by you, to have you speak to a group, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
They can go to my website. It's www.georgiawoodbine.com. They can follow me on Instagram, like me on Facebook, tweet me on Twitter, and share on LinkedIn. They can find me they can find me on Google. And I just wanted to share quickly that I do have a online class. Actually, I have three. One of them is to create the life you love. And I break down my blueprint to people that are really trying to get on that path to really doing something that they love and turning their path profits.
So if you go to georgiawoodbine.com, you'll see 5 secrets to turn your passion into profits, powerful secrets that will immediately transform your life. And that's just the beginning. There's so much more. Love your blog. You just got it going on. It's been a real treat to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Listen to Your 20-Minute Podcast with David Brower on the go. Downloads are available on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, any podcast app, and on our website at davidbrowervo.com/Your 20-Minute Podcast. Until next time, thank you for listening.